All right, welcome in to the All Out Super Late Model Series uh, here at New Smyrna. A little bit different than what you guys are normally used to with the wait until the last few minutes of practice before we go live. You're going to get a kind of like a behind the scenes look here. You see the guys sitting here working on their setups. But we're going to bring a few of them in to talk with us before practice ends and qualifying begins for the round of 16 in the chase for the championship here. So let's go see who all is available to come in and talk here. We'll be right back. All right, we are here with Will Hal. He is fastest here today, and Will, you got something figured out here that a lot of these guys haven't really got so far with your 16.86 lap time there.
Yeah, I mean it's all right. I mean, we need to get a little bit better. I think not exactly where I want to be right now. So keep working on it, and hopefully we'll get better at some point tonight.
Yeah, and the round of 16 it starts tonight with the practice qualifying session. I'm not sure about the points standing. I'm not sure if you made it in, so you have to refresh my memory here. But with the round of 16, though, that's another challenge for the drivers here tonight.
Yeah, it's for the guys that are in the 16. I mean, they're adding. It's a longer race for one. You're gonna have to save a whole lot more, and you're gonna have to get up on the wheel longer. And I mean, when you narrow it down to the top 16 guys, it's just. I mean, it becomes a lot more difficult because the guys you're racing each week. So you're gonna have to really get after it and stay consistent throughout all the rounds and really work for it.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to practice, dial that setup in, and get ready for qualifying here at about 16 minutes, buddy.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time, buddy. All right, let's see if we can't get Jonathan Smith to come in. I know he isn't one of those round of 16 drivers. We'll bring him in, see if we can get his input on it. We'll just sat there, and told you guys each week it's going to get more and more challenging for these guys that are in the top 16, battling for the championship here. So see if we can't get Jonathan Smith pulled in and maybe talk to him for a few minutes here. All right. And we are here with one of those drivers that you heard Will and I talking about with the round of 16 here, Jonathan Smith. Every week is difficult in this league. You've got talented drivers up and down the field, but whenever it comes time for the 16 drivers fighting for the championship, it's going to be a whole lot tougher on you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a real tough championship for sure, especially, knocking the field in half every week, or every other week, since we're racing every other week. But we've got a lot of pretty strong cars in it.
Yeah, and last week you finished out the regular season with a good, strong run, and you have to be looking forward to starting out the chase here the right way with a very strong run in qualifying here tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty hard to beat William up there with that 16.8. That's a pretty tough time here. But I'm going to do what I can to start up front for next week, and I really like the schedule we have for the chase, going here, then Five Flags, and then, of course, my favorite track, Nashville. I'm a little bit biased about that, but it's going to be pretty fun.
Well, I wouldn't say you're biased as to where you guys, a lot of you guys, and we've touched on it quite a bit, throughout the season, with a lot of you guys working at either Nashville or running Nashville on a weekly basis whenever racing is happening there. So, of course, you guys are going to, be like, hey, that's a great track to end on is Nashville.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I like about this league. A lot of these guys I've actually met in person, because we all do either drive or work at Nashville. I help a late model team down there, so it's cool getting to see everybody that I race with on here in person.
Yeah, and that's something that iRacing gives you the ability to meet people from across the country and across the world, and then to be able to go out and meet them in person. That's something that you can't quite do with other games or simulators. And so it's a neat aspect that iRacing provides everybody.
Yeah, it's a really cool aspect to it. Like on my team, Driven Motorsports, we've got guys, all over the country. Kind of mostly more toward the center of the country right now, but we've had guys from out west. We've got a guy way up north right now. But, people that I talk to every day all over the country that I never would have had a chance to meet if it wasn't for iRacing.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jonathan, I'm going to let you go and let you get some more practice in and get your setup dialed in and get ready to go. You're sitting pretty good there, third place, just 0.06 of a second off of Williams' time. So pretty good, indication of what's to come in qualifying tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to try to give him a run for it, see if I can steal that pole position from him.
All right, Jonathan. Thanks, buddy. And good luck.
Thank you.
We're now joined with another one of the drivers from the round of 16, Austin Victory. Austin, we talked a little bit with Jonathan Smith about the challenges that U16 drivers face with the fact that you have drivers that are not in the round of 16 that you're going to be battling with and having to challenge to start up front each race. You shouldn't say each week because we're racing every other week now, but each race so that you have a good starting position so you're not having to fight your way through the field and potentially get caught up in any incidents.
Yes, sir, that's right. Just going to try to save my stuff and hopefully be there at the end and see where I'm at.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of you guys have been very consistent over the last handful of weeks, ending the regular season, coming into the push for the championship here. And that's going to, take on a whole nother aspect of it with the consistency each race.
Yes, sir. I'm just gonna try to be there at the end and see what happens. Hopefully, I'll make the round of 8 and go from there.
All right, Austin. Well, I'll let you get out of here, get ready to go do some more practice and do some qualifying, and good luck. Hopefully you start up front next week.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so they're going to get set to do their little drivers meeting here before the race starts. So we'll sit here, we'll talk a little bit about the racetrack here and give you guys some input or some information rather on the track as we get ready to start. Well, I shouldn't say we get ready. We've already started here with the start of practice here. The round of 16 started about, I want to say 53 minutes ago almost. So that's something that, these guys are going to have to really battle each week. It is the 15 other driver, well, next week they're going to have to battle the 15 other drivers for a spot in the round of 8. And then 2 weeks after next week, so in 3 weeks' time, they're going to have to battle 7 other drivers to make it to the Final Four. I could give a prediction on who I think is going to make it to the round of 4, and it's going to be a lot of the guys that you've seen all season run up front, like Scott Formosa, Robert Barber, Jonathan Smith here of late. The way he's been coming on and really fighting to get up into the top 5 each and every week. And then the other driver that I think is going to be a factor there towards the end is going to be Louis Robinette, and potentially Chris Reardon. If as long as he can stay out of trouble here, it seems to be each and every race trouble finds him, trouble likes him. So if he can stay out of trouble there, I think you're going to see Chris Reardon. He's going to be up there as well, and potentially, well, heck, why don't we just say all 16 of them? All 16 of them are going to be a factor each and every race until the final race here in 5 weeks' time, as we will crown the champion for this season with the All Out Super Late Model Series. But a little bit of information on the track here. Obviously, it is located in Samsula, Florida. It's only a half a mile track. You got 18 to 20 degrees of banking. But it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these drivers, especially tonight with qualifying, and then come back next week and watch them battle it out for 200 laps around this half-mile track. So, originally opened in 1967. Wow. It's been open for quite a long time. But, for the most part, they race the NASCAR Wheel and All-American Series every Saturday night. But this picture here that you can see, You see the building in the background. It's like a little shed. And then beyond that, you can see a track inside the track. They call that the little New Smyrna racetrack. So, but the track inside the infield, they race quarter midgets every Friday night. So if you have a quarter midget in the state of Florida, there you go. There's you a racetrack, a very historical track. But it's not a very big. It's got a kind of like a Bristol feel-esque to it. A little bit longer straightaways, a little bit narrower turns than what you see at Bristol. Bristol, you have those big wide turns. That takes up about a quarter of the half mile from Bristol. As to where here, you have a lot of the half mile being taken up on the straightaways. You got some longer straightaways. It's almost like it's a mix between Martinsville and a Bristol, so to speak, with the kind of the layout of a Martinsville and the banking of a Bristol. But it's going to be definitely going to be fun to sit here and watch these guys battle over the next 45 minutes or so in qualifying. So let me just write down who we talked to tonight so we don't talk to them again next week. Get a different driver's perspective before the race next week or in 2 weeks' time. We talked to Jonathan Smith. And, you know, he sat there and he said it's going to be very difficult. You know, you don't want to be too far back. You want to kind of start up front to try to avoid any incidents that happen further back into the field. You want to, you know, put yourself in the best position possible to have a great start of the chase next week. But as these drivers get set, you see Scott Formosa out there grabbing some final minutes of practice, trying to get that car dialed in to the very, very best that he can. Hopefully jump up from that 5th position he's currently sitting in here in practice and potentially turn it around and jump up into the top 3 starting positions for next week's race. Although starting top 5 isn't a bad starting position. So we have about a minute left, and you see there he scraped that outside wall. He didn't scrape it, he smashed into the outside wall. Kind of damaged that front end. Let's see. Got James Talbert out, seeing if he can't pick up some time. It didn't look like he did the last time. He was slower than his fastest lap. About 0.4 of a second off of race pace, or well, fast time rather, set by Will Hell. See what Talbot can get done this lap here. And I mean, he's very consistent with his fast time. His fast time is a 17.316. The last lap was a 17.351. We'll go watch Michael Fravert now. He was very similar to his lap time. His practice is over. We're going to get set for qualifying. We start qualifying. We'll have one car at a time. We'll be able to watch them qualify. We should be able to see every driver qualify here tonight. before we do, we need to thank the All Out Esports guys for putting everything together. Robert Barber and his team over there at All Out. And then we also need to thank the All Out Super Late Model Series for great racing action each and every week. Without them, this would not be what it is. As we get set to go here, it's going to be James Talbert going out first for qualifying. See what Talbot can't get done here on lap number 1 here. New Smyrna Raceway, or Speedway rather. She starts that first lap. Goes through turn 1 and 2. He looked pretty good in turns 1 and 2. He looks good here so far in 3 and 4. Looked really good in 3 and 4. Kept it nice and low. His first lap is going to be a 17.637. 17.637. First lap for James Talbot. Let's see if he can improve on that lap time here on lap number 2. And he does a 17.546 for James Talbot. Joe Williams out next in the 11 machine. It's always good to see Joe here racing each and every week. He's another one of those drivers just like Jonathan Smith, to where you see him each week and you see him constantly improving. So we'll see what he can do here on lap number 1. He looked pretty good through 1 and 2. Got a little loose off of 2. See if he can't keep it nice and tight. And he looked good out of 3 and 4. Really good out of 3 and 4. It's just like first lap is a 17.432. 17.432 for Joe Williams. We'll see if he can't pick up time here on lap number 2. Looks good again through 3 and 4. Goes a little bit high and tags that wall. That will invalidate that lap time. So that lap time will not count for Joe Williams. We'll wait to see who comes out next for qualifying. It's going to be the one of James Somke. Seen James had quite a few good runs where he's been up inside that top 5 and then just gets collected in an incident and hurts his race. But he's starting lap number 1. He keeps it nice and low to the yellow line, dipping below it just a little bit. Had a nice exit out of 2. And again, stays nice and low through turns 3 and 4. His first lap is going to be a 17.469. 17.469 for James Somke. That puts him right around 0.4 of a second. 37 thousandths off of Joe Williams' lap time. His second lap for James Somke is quicker. It's a 17.316. 17.316 for James Somke on lap number 2. Michael Fravert going to come out now for his lap. See him trying to warm the tires up a little bit to get as much heat into them before he starts his lap here. He starts lap 1. You saw him go high in 3 and come out low in 4. That's going to put a lot of heat into the right sides. Fravert looked very good through 1 and 2 and on the exit. And had a nice run down the back straightaway. And again, another good exit, setting up the long straightaway there. Michael Fravert's first lap time is going to be a 17.490. 17.490 for Michael Fravert. He's coming to complete lap number 2. A little high on the exit and did not improve that lap time. He was high on exit of 4. That didn't help him. They're going to have Christopher Reardon in the 6th machine out next. You have to wonder, Fravert is the only driver who warmed his tires up coming out as Reardon starts lap number 1. But Michael Fravert warmed the tires up, the only driver to do that, and it really didn't help him a whole lot. Reardon comes through 3 and 4, has a good 3 and 4 on the borderline of great 3 and 4, and it was a great lap for Christopher Reardon. He ran a 17.194. 17.194 for Christopher Reardon on lap number 1. We'll see what he can do here on lap 2. Can he improve that lap time? He does not. He ran a 17.221 on the second lap. 17.221 on lap number 2 for Christopher Reardon. We get set for our 6th qualifier of the night. It's going to be Mark Fravert in the 44 machine. I don't know why I was thinking he was 42. 42 is James Talbot. 44 is Mark Fravert. Mark Fravert starts lap 1 as a nice low entry. Good drive off of turn number 2. A good entry into 3. And a good entry or exit out of 4. His first lap is going to be a new quick time with the 17.074. 17.074 for Mark Fravert on lap number 1. See if he can improve that and break into the 16-second mark here for the first time tonight. And he does not. He runs a 17.276 on lap number 2. 17.276 lap number 2 for Mark Fravert. So he'll have that first lap time. Now is the quick time of the session so far with the 17.074 for Mark Fravert. Louis Robinette out on track now. Robinette starting lap 1. A little bit of a higher line in turn 1 and 2. He could be using that to kind of heat up the tires a little bit so he can run lower on lap number 2. But lap number 1 is going to be a 17.193. 17.193 for Louis Robinette. And Robinette tags the outside wall on the exit of 2. So that will invalidate his second lap here this evening. Louis Robinette, second quickest with 17.193. Scott Formosa going out now. He will be the 8th qualifier of the evening. Formosa been very strong all season, led the points, and has I believe it's a 2-point gap over second place. He's going through lap 1 and 2. We're seeing he's using the same line as Louis Robinette. First lap for Formosa. It's a new quick time with a 16.907. 16.907 for Formosa on lap number 1. We'll see if he can't pick up here on lap number 2. He gets a loose out of 4. So he's going to lose about 20, quite a bit of time there. His second lap was a 17.047, 17.047 for Scott Formosa. Robert Barber going to be next out on track. We were talking with Jonathan Smith about the drivers who work at Nashville or race at Nashville. And Barber is one of those guys who works the track at Nashville. So he's getting ready to start lap number 1 here for his qualifying effort for Chase race number 1 next week. Barber had a very strong first set of corners. had a good, strong 3 and 4 there. His first lap time is going to be a 17:09.3. 17:09.3 for Robert Barber. Lap number 1. So he finishes lap number 2 here. 17:195, so he does not improve. He'll sit third quick. 17:195 for Robert Barber on lap number 2. We get set here for our 10th qualifier of the evening. I believe it's going to be Jonathan Smith. Yes, it is. Jonathan Smith going out now. Talked to Jonathan before he started qualifying there in practice as he starts his first lap of qualifying, and he emphasized the importance of getting a good starting position for next week's race. He had a great backstretch into turn 3 and 4. Great 3 and 4 there. His first lap time is going to be a 17.012. 17.012 for Jonathan Smith on lap number 1. See what he can get here on lap number 2. Can he pick up that lap time? He does not. Jonathan Smith runs a 17.151 on lap 2. So he'll keep that first lap of a 17.012. Austin Victory going to be out next. We talked to him as well. He said he just wants to be consistent and smooth and be there at the end of this chase. Have a chance for the championship here. Bradley starts lap, or not Bradley. Victory starts lap 1. Bradley on the side of the car. Victory, the driver. Lap 1 here. See what he can do. He had a good 1 and 2 backstretch. Good 3 and 4 there. First lap for Austin Victory is going to be a 17.221. 17.221 for Austin Victory on lap number 1. Coming to complete lap number 2. See what he can do here. Can he pick up time? He does with the 17.100. 17.100 on lap number 2 for Austin Victory. That puts him 5th quick. Now you're going to have Will Hall out start lap number 1 for Hal. Hal had to check up in 1 and 2 there. Gonna go way wide. Hal, his first lap is going to be a 17.082. 17.082 for Hal on the lap number 1. He gets ready to finish lap number 2 here. Lap 2 for Hal is going to be a 16.966, so that bumps him up to second quick. 16.966 for William Hall on lap number 2. So we should have one more driver. Should have one more driver to qualify, I believe. One more driver to qualify. So Scott Formosa going to be our fast qualifier of the night. We'll see if we can't try to get Scott Formosa. I'm not seeing Scott Formosa. But we could potentially get Jonathan Smith to come in and talk to us post-qualifying here. Possibly Robert Barber as well. Try to get those guys in here for some see Formosa sitting there in the victory lane right in front of the Racing for Breast Cancer Awareness banner on the track. We'll see if we can get Jonathan Smith to come in and talk to us after qualifying here. Potentially get his take. He's going to start the top 3 next week here for the first race of the chase for the championship, or but try to get Jonathan Smith and get his take on how qualifying went for him. All right, we're joined by Jonathan Smith. And Jonathan, we talked before qualifying there in practice. You said you wanted a great starting position for the race next week, and starting third for that race. You're just about a tenth of a second off of Scott Formosa's time, which isn't a big surprise there with Scott being strong all season.
Yeah, I'll definitely take the third place. It's going to be a good spot to start this race from. Kind of follow Scott, let him set the pace for a while. I just overdrove it into one a little bit and gave up a ton of time on that lap. But
yeah, you were really quick on lap number 1 with the 17.012. And you did lose some time there on lap number 2. But I mean, at 17.012 at a track that is very difficult, like New Smyrna Speedway is, it's not an easy feat.
yeah, like I said, I'm happy with the third starting spot. I don't really would have liked the pole, and the way these tires are, that second lap's going to fall off. So I had to try to get everything I could on the first lap, and just tried to take a little bit too much going into one. Drove it in a little too hard, and got tight in the center.
Yeah, and like you said, third place finish is a great starting spot, especially with a race that is as long as what we have next week. 200 laps here, half a mile. That's going to be a very tough and demanding race on you guys driving around here for 200 laps.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a long one. Having the extra set of tires will be kind of nice for 200 laps. Hopefully this week I can, get a good tire strategy instead of trying to make a call that ends up hurting me in the end. But, I think if I can use those tires at the right time, I'll have a shot at it.
All right, Jonathan. Thanks for your time, buddy. Thanks for your time, Jonathan. And we look forward to the race next week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for doing the awesome job broadcasting that you always do.
Thanks for your time, buddy.
Thank you.
We are now joined by Robert Barber. Robert, start of the playoffs here, the chase for the championship, so to speak. Started tonight with the practice qualifying session, and we get set for next week's race here. 200 laps. It's going to be a very interesting and a very fun race.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. It's going to be a lot of strategy with only getting one set of tires and everything. It's going to be about survival and whoever plays the best strategy throughout the race, whoever can hang on to them tires the longest, I guess.
Yeah, and I talked to Jonathan before the race, and his big thing was, to get a good starting position for next week's race to try to get out in front of everybody early as possible. And I mean, you did the same thing up there in that fifth position. So again, you're going to be up there. You're not going to have to worry about trying to fight your way through the field and getting caught up into somebody else's incident or an incident that happened due to hard racing that we see week in, week out.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that we're starting towards the front, and I could have had a better lap. I actually overdrove my first lap, and here you're one lap and done. If you don't get it on the first lap, that second lap's not going to be any faster. So I just overdrove it a little bit and hurt my lap. I think it could have been, possibly top 3. But looking forward to the race. I always race well here. I just can't seem to always find the one lap speed.
Yeah, and that's the thing, especially at a track. I compared it almost to like a mix between Martinsville and Bristol. You got the Bristol banking, but you got the Martinsville layout.
Yeah, and here you got to be really careful around the apron too. If you get down there, you can control it a little bit. Just don't try and mat the gas, because you're going to come around and you're going to wreck yourself and probably some other people in the process. But yeah, it drives a lot like Martinsville. You want to be down low, you want to be on that inside groove, but at the same time, it's very deceptive how loose you get off the corners here. And I'm glad they've got the wall kickouts on the exits, because it definitely helps.
Yeah, and like I said, it's going to be a fun race to watch. It's going to be a fun race to be able to call. You guys always provide great racing, and as we're winding down the season here, it's very bittersweet, so to speak. We've had a good long run here, and the season's come to an end with all the great racing action you guys provide each and every week.
Yeah, it really has, and it's been a long season, that's for sure. I mean, we've been going since February, and through everything that's going on in the world, we've put on some good races, and I've got a great group of guys that come race with us every weekend or every week, and it's just some clean racing, and it just makes for good entertainment, and everybody respects each other, and that's the best part about it. Is we're just like a really good group of guys, and I'm looking forward to it, trying to get into that top 8 and then that top 4 for when Nashville comes out. I'm super excited about that. I want to be in that top 4 racing for the championship at Nashville.
Absolutely. All right, well, Robert, I'm going to let you get out of here and enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll use this week to get ready for next week, and it's going to be a very demanding race with 200 laps.
Yeah, I appreciate everything you guys have done this season. It's been great working with y'all, and hopefully we get to do some stuff in the future, depending on how everything shapes out. But I really appreciate everything y'all have done. It's been fun, and looking forward to these next 3 races and possibly more in the future.
All right, Robert. Thanks for your time, buddy. Good luck next week.
Thanks.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us for tonight for the qualifying and the practice session. As we get set to go racing next week, and you're going to see a lot of aggressive racing. I won't say aggressive driving to where they're going to be on the verge of wrecking each other. but you're going to see them fighting hard for every spot, especially these guys that are battling for the championship. They're going to really be fighting hard to get up there, and it's going to provide some great racing action. Kind of a little bit more intense racing than what we've seen throughout the season. It's been intense all season. These guys have been great, and they do a great job week in, week out. And it's going to be an even more intense battle over these next 5 weeks for this championship. And it's going to be a great, great finish here to the season. Obviously, with Nashville coming out, it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to go to Nashville and really be able to see these guys, a lot of these guys that race there, see them in their home setting. A lot of these guys able to race at Nashville week in, week out in real life, and we'll be able to see how that transfers over to iRacing here. So stay tuned for the next 5 weeks. It's going to be great racing action. And until next week, have a great week. 200 laps next week here. Going to be a lot of fun. But until then, stay safe, be careful, do what you got to do to take care of yourselves. We'll see you guys back next week for the first race in the chase. But until then, have a great rest of your Thursday evening. We'll catch you back next week.